from my point of view, and I'll go back all the way to the beginning of the season. I was worried that this was going to completely fall apart. I mean, I don't know, if you could take yourself back to October. We were in football, and football was kind of working. Big Ten wasn't having fans or anything like that, but it seemed like college basketball just didn't have a great plan, and things were starting to fall apart, and tournaments were being canceled. And I was worried that this was going to completely come off the rails. And somehow we were able to get through the season. Some teams had more issues than others. I was also worried about the Big Ten playing a conference tournament in Indianapolis going into that thing. I thought that some of the bigger conferences should have said, you know what, let's not do the conference tournaments. Let's just make sure we're ready to go for the NCAA tournament. I was wrong. I mean, everything worked out other than, one team, VCU, and an issue that they had at the A-10 tournament. Kind of bled over and they couldn't play against Oregon in the first round, but that was it. And I enjoyed the tournament. I thought it was awesome to see games being played at Hinkle Fieldhouse and where IUPUI plays. It reminded me of the old days, back in the early 90s, when you would play in smaller arenas in the first round, and there was a lot more character, and the courts looked a little bit different. And hats off to everybody involved, because I didn't know what to expect, and I certainly didn't expect it to go as well as it did. And thankfully, we're through it now. And we'll get back to a semblance. We'll get back to actual normalcy next year, I think. Right now, we're kind of a semblance of normalcy. But it'll be interesting to see if they change anything. Maybe they've learned some stuff.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I don't know if it's to just have the tournament in one site, although there are plenty of cities that could pull something like this off. But I do wonder if venue choice becomes an issue, because it's not like the first and second round games sell out. So why not have them in a more friendly environment for a smaller crowd?
Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that they might look at. I don't know the financials, though, and I know that some of these cities, like a city that I used to work in Des Moines, their biggest event is every few years they'll get the first and second round of the NCAA tournament. And it means so much to the Des Moines area and the state of Iowa, where if you just do it in one spot, you're not going to be able to spread that around as well. And I don't know how all that's going to work, but I do think that there are things we can certainly take from this and learn, because it was out of necessity, but it was unique, and some of the things were pretty cool.
Chris, I really appreciate your time, man. It's good to catch up, too. I'm glad that you were available for the show and for us to talk about it. I was with you. I kept thinking something about college basketball doesn't feel quite right, and I actually wasn't into it until the tournament started. I got to give all of the teams and all of the players a lot of credit for the sacrifices that they made to make this a wonderful tournament that was entertaining from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, it really, and the players especially, like you said. I mean, we don't really realize how much they did. And I know that they're getting scholarships, and, a lot of us would have traded places with them in a heartbeat, but they really did have a trying year. I mean, some of these teams, like Gonzaga, they were in Indianapolis locked in their hotel rooms basically for 4 weeks of that tournament. Really not being able to do anything except go out and play or practice. They weren't rooming with anybody. They had nothing to do, but they did it because they love the game. And we love the game as well, and we're certainly grateful for all that everybody did to make this happen, because for a while it didn't look good.
Didn't look good at all. Chris, thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks a lot, Lawrence. Anytime, man.
Big thanks to Chris Hassel for jumping on and giving some background on what it is that we saw last week. And you can check him out on CBS HQ. You can find him on the Stadium Network. He's really good at his job calling games and breaking down college football, basketball. we'll take a break. I have something I want to say about college basketball coaches. I'll share that with you coming up next here on CBS Sports Radio.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live? Well, you handle life's questions. Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost to Merrill, the Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals and get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed weightless value.
In times of fear, World Vision is there for the most vulnerable. For the last 70 years, we've been standing with kids and families through natural disasters, war, and disease, delivering life-saving aid and helping rebuild lives. And with every act of courage, faith, and love, we do more than just stop the spread of fear. We replace it with hope. Learn more at worldvision.org.
This spring, there's an outside chance you're ready for some outside projects and a 100% chance of saving at the Home Depot. Right now, stock up on 5 bags of First Grow or Figaro mulch for only lots of great low prices, free delivery on your favorite spring project. You'll save in-store, online, store